What happens if Amazon suddenly goes dark? A warehouse in Ohio freezes mid-shift. Thousands of conveyor belts stop moving at exactly the same time. Packages pile up. Robots stall in place. Delivery routes disappear from driver phones. At first, everyone thinks it's just another outage. But then, payment terminals start failing. Hospitals lose access to cloud records. Half the internet begins timing out. And somewhere inside a dark Amazon data center, engineers realize they may not be able to bring it back. Most people think Amazon is just an online store, a place to buy headphones, protein powder, or random things at 2 a.m. you regret 3 days later. But Amazon quietly became something much bigger. It controls warehouses, shipping networks, cloud servers, AI infrastructure, home security, streaming, groceries, pharmacies, internet traffic. Modern life runs through Amazon in ways most people never see. And the terrifying part? If Amazon stopped working tomorrow, the problem wouldn't be delayed packages. The problem is that huge parts of modern society were built on the assumption that Amazon would always work. Today, we're going to walk through exactly what would happen if Amazon suddenly went dark, hour by hour, system by system, until the world starts realizing just how fragile everything actually is. The first hour. At first, almost nobody panics. Amazon goes down sometimes. People joke about it online. Guess Jeff forgot to pay the electricity bill. Memes spread faster than concern. But then something strange happens. Thousands of websites begin crashing alongside Amazon. Not because they're owned by Amazon, but because they run on Amazon Web Services. AWS. The invisible engine behind massive chunks of the internet. Streaming services, apps, banks, airlines, government systems, startups, security cameras, food delivery apps. You might be wondering how much of the internet actually depends on AWS. More than most people realize, entire businesses exist without owning a single physical server. Everything lives in Amazon's cloud. And when that cloud disappears, their company effectively disappears too. Within an hour, food delivery apps fail, streaming platforms freeze, smart home systems stop responding, people get locked out of connected buildings. Meanwhile, Amazon engineers are desperately trying to isolate the issue. But there's a problem. The outage isn't localized. It's spreading. The warehouse problem. Now the physical side starts collapsing. Amazon warehouses operate like giant mechanical organisms. Millions of items move through them every single day. Most of it is automated. Algorithms decide what gets stored where, which route drivers take, what inventory moves first, and what arrives tomorrow morning. Without software, the system slows to almost nothing. Workers suddenly have no tracking data. Drivers lose delivery routes. Robots stop communicating. Packages begin stacking into mountains. And remember, modern retail was redesigned around speed. Stores don't keep huge backup inventory anymore. Why would they? Amazon normalized instant logistics, which means many businesses now operate with extremely thin margins and extremely thin stock reserves. By the end of the first day, replacement inventory stops arriving. And that's when people begin noticing the second-order effects. Not online, in real life. The supply chain shock. A pharmacy in Chicago can't restock medication. A repair company can't source parts. Independent sellers lose their entire storefront overnight. Small businesses suddenly lose sales, payments, shipping, advertising, and cloud infrastructure all at once. Because for many companies, Amazon isn't a partner. It's the foundation underneath the business itself. And then comes the psychological shift. People stop asking, when will Amazon come back? And start asking, what else is connected to this? That's when panic begins spreading faster than the outage. Because once people lose confidence in systems, they start changing behavior. They buy more, withdraw cash, hoard essentials. Fuel stations get crowded, supermarkets empty faster than expected. Not because supplies are fully gone yet, but because people believe they might disappear. And modern systems are incredibly vulnerable to fear. Civilization works surprisingly well, right up until people stop trusting it. The AWS blackout. This is where things become genuinely dangerous, because AWS isn't just used by businesses. Governments use it. Emergency systems use it. Financial infrastructure touches it constantly. Even partial failures create chaos. Now imagine a prolonged total outage. Banks begin limiting digital services. Airline systems fail intermittently. Call centers crash. Some hospitals lose cloud-linked scheduling and storage systems. Nothing fully collapses overnight. That's what makes it scary. It's slower than Hollywood, more confusing, more believable. 1,000 tiny failures happening simultaneously, and nobody fully understands how connected everything became until the connections break. The modern world optimized itself for efficiency, not resilience. That distinction matters a lot, because efficient systems remove backups. Redundancy looks wasteful during good times, until something fails. Then redundancy suddenly becomes priceless. Collapse. By day 3, the mood changes completely. Cities still function, cars still drive, lights still turn on. But the invisible layer underneath society starts flickering. Delivery delays become shortages. Customer service becomes silence. Businesses begin shutting temporarily. Millions of workers can't do their jobs properly. Entire online economies freeze in place. And then comes the realization, nobody wants to say out loud, there may not be a quick fix. Because systems this large become almost impossible to fully understand. Amazon isn't one machine, it's millions of machines. Millions of servers, contracts, algorithms, dependencies, third-party integrations, automated decisions. A digital ecosystem so large that even the people running it may not fully grasp all of it. And that's the hidden danger of modern civilization. We built systems too big to mentally comprehend, then connected everything to them. You know what's unsettling? Most people assume governments would immediately step in. But governments depend on the same infrastructure too. They use the same cloud systems, the same vendors, the same networks. The line between public infrastructure and private infrastructure became blurry years ago. Most people just never noticed. Final thought. Here's the truly disturbing part. This scenario doesn't require war, or meteors, or zombies, or some movie-level apocalypse. It only requires one thing: a critical system becoming unavailable long enough for trust to break. That's it. Because modern civilization runs on confidence. Confidence that payments work, deliveries arrive, systems stay online, and someone somewhere is in control. But the deeper you look, the more you realize modern life is held together by a handful of giant, invisible systems almost nobody thinks about until they fail. And Amazon is just one of them. The world became incredibly advanced, but also incredibly interconnected, which means convenience and fragility grew together. Every optimized system quietly removed friction, backup plans, human oversight, local alternatives. It made life faster, cheaper, more efficient, but maybe not safer. And if a company like Amazon ever truly stopped working, the scariest part wouldn't be the outage itself. It would be discovering how much of society stopped working with it. Because once you start noticing these hidden systems, you see them everywhere. Power grids, food logistics, GPS satellites, undersea internet cables, financial clearing systems, tiny invisible layers holding modern civilization together. And most people never think about them until one disappears. So the next time your package arrives overnight, or your smart speaker answers instantly, or your phone unlocks your front door, just remember, you're not using one system. You're depending on thousands of systems working perfectly together every second. And nothing that complicated stays perfect forever. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more stories about the hidden systems modern society quietly depends on and what happens when they fail.